All right. Whoever wants to start for Coach Johnson, go right ahead.
Coach, obviously different, offensive regime, but a lot of the same players, honestly. So how do you maximize what worked for you before and incorporate new stuff that you see can take off?
Well, it's football, so it's about just putting together the best game plan you can and organize the pass game, the run game, the protections. So you do all those things together. And I think Coach Nixon's done a great job of putting in the installs. We put in 3 installs already, and we've put in a lot of football. So it's a lot of situational things. We put in 2 minutes, we put in third down, we put in red zone, and just making sure that our guys are up to everything on their situations when it comes to football.
Are you surprised at all about some of the immediate impact some of the transfers that made in your receiver room?
No, I'm not surprised. I think Coach Brown has done a great job of bringing in good football players, and I think we've done a good job of getting these guys to practice a certain way, to play with a certain level of physicality, and I think those new players are just being a part of the new culture.
Mike, you're one of the few retainees from last year's staff. I guess just what did Fran tell you about why he wanted you to stay, and why did you want to stay on his staff?
Well, I think Coach Brown came in and we talked about the vision that he had for the program. And I think he's doing a great job of implementing the vision that he has for Syracuse football. And he's implemented it in phases. And I think that he always talks about are you committed, do you care, and can he trust you? And when I interviewed with him, I guess I passed that test. And I've been around a lot of football, and I'm a guy that no matter, even though I was here last year, he has a vision that I have to follow, and that's all I'm trying to do.
So I was going to ask, is it like a formal interview in those types of situations, or was it just kind of like a conversation?
Well, it's a conversation. I'm a guy that I've coached in the NFL for 11 years. I've been an offensive coordinator in both college football and the professional level, and you get to a point in your career where you have a resume. And so he knew that I knew football. And then it was just a matter of how do I fit? Can he put me into a place where I can help build the staff and then put something on the field that can help us win a championship? And I think I did that.
What did he tell you about moving you over and working with the tight ends? You're with the wide receivers the past couple of years, but I know you have experience all over the place.
Right. Well, we didn't talk about why he did it,
Okay.
but I think that was an opening that he had to fill. And me being a guy that has coached a lot of positions, I'm able to do that. And I thought that I was a good fit, and he thought I was a good fit. So it's just a matter of me I always coach with my feet on. And, whether I'm coaching tight ends, coaching quarterbacks, coaching wide receivers, if that's my role, then I'm going to follow that role. And that's what we're talking about.
Leaning on that experience you have, Mike, how would you describe where OG fits among the players that you've had the opportunity to coach?
Well, OG is going to be a great football player. He's still developing. He's still getting to the point where he knows everything about what he's doing from a football standpoint. But OG is a kid that has a great football IQ. He understands football. He understands how to get open. He understands when to sit down. He understands how to handle man coverage, zone coverage. He's a guy, and he's definitely a treat to coach. And he prepares. He prepares like a pro already. He comes in a couple hours a day when he has time, and he studies. He watches film. He goes over the game plans. He goes over the installs. So I'm having a pleasure coaching him as well as the other tight ends.
Coach Nixon was saying the other day, he had a fun expression, no block, no rock.
Yeah.
Go over your kind of emphasis on blocking here in spring practice and what you're doing there.
Well, for the first 3 practices, we didn't even throw a football to him. So we worked hard on the blocking aspects. I think both OG and Dan Villari are good pass receivers, but that's not going to cut it. You have to be able to block in order for us to be a good running football team. And we made sure that we made an emphasis of that even in our off-season preparation and our winter conditioning. And then now that we're going into spring ball, it's still a major emphasis for us. If we can get those guys to be better run blockers, then we're going to be a better football team because they're going to be good in the passing game.
What excites you the most about having a tandem of OG and Dan Villari?
Well, I think those guys, like I said, they're talented. They're both, 6'4", 240, 235, and they're great athletes. But it's about getting them to that championship standard of doing everything well, not just being a one-dimensional player, but also getting them to run block, getting them to pass protect, getting them to catch the ball, do all the things that you do as a tight end in any offense. So that's my job, is to make sure that I make them well-rounded.
When you have those two guys plus Jamie coming in the fall, how do you really incorporate all of them into the offense and be able to use them all effectively?
Well, they're going to have to be consistent because we're going to play the best football players. So the guys that can go on the field and they can execute at a high level, I don't care whether he's a freshman, I don't care whether he's a senior, but we're going to play the best football players on the field and put them on the field and help us win. But I like my group. I think those guys are going to be prepared. I think they do a great job of preparing, and then when the young guys come in, we're going to get them going. And I think those two young guys that are coming in, Elijah Washington and then Trimble, those guys are going to be good football players, but it's going to be a learning curve for them. We have a lot of football in now, and they're going to have to get caught up on that. So, I think we'll be good with the guys we have right now.
How's the Syracuse experience been for you, just not only working here, but living here?
Oh, it's been great for me. I've enjoyed Syracuse. My wife has enjoyed Syracuse. My daughter's been here. My son's been here. So it's been a treat. It's definitely more than I envisioned when I was first hired. So I've kind of dove into the community. We were acclimated with the church and the community. So I really enjoyed it. And I think Syracuse has been great for me and my family.
Coach, if you can, what was your involvement with offensive play calling last year? And if you can, who can be the primary play caller for this year?
Well, I mean, I've kind of pushed the lead from last year. I don't really want to talk about last year. I was the wide receiver coach last year. I think Coach Nixon is going to be the primary play caller here, and we're all going to assist him in putting the game plan together. But he's going to be the primary play caller, and we're all going to do our roles and help us win. But I think he's going to be the guy.
Two more for Coach Johnson.
How would you describe what Coach Nixon's putting in offensively and what we're going to see?
Oh, I love it. I think it's a well-versed run game. I think it's a well-versed protection scheme, and well-versed passing game. I think we have enough football to do anything that we want to do. And we've got to figure out who our best football players are going to be and what's our best personnel group, and then go from there. But all the plays and all the protections and all the run games and the run schemes that we have, we'll be able to do that with no matter whether it's a 2 tight end set, whether it's a 3 wide receiver set, 3 tight end set. We're capable to be flexible in all areas.
I know you guys are test driving the in-helmet communication technology this spring. Having experience with that at the pro level, I guess just if that gets implemented at college, what do you think will be the biggest change or difference, or how can that benefit the game?
Well, I think it helps the quarterback because he doesn't have to focus on the signals as much, because you can give him the play call in his ear. When you're signaling to everyone else, he can focus on what he's hearing, and he can get a grasp of the play quicker. The thing that I like about it is, they cut it off at 15. Because if I were playing quarterback, I wouldn't want to have someone talking in my ear all the way to the 2 seconds in the play clock. So it shuts off at 15, which is good. And it gives him a chance to focus and get narrowed in on what he's supposed to do on that play.
Thanks, Coach.